experience with prior medical prescriptions that prevented them from making that decision. But that decision must be theirs. Their bodies belong to them. They are masters of their own decisions. And instead of listening to these people, the Prime Minister has insulted them and name-called them and left them with no choice but to engage in legitimate and peaceful protest. If he wants to put an end to those protests, if he wants to actually reunite the country, then he should do what others have begun doing, because freedom is on the march in this country.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Alberta, Prince Edward Island, and Quebec are beginning to lift these restrictions. At midnight in Alberta, the vaccine passport came to an end, and people across the country are showing their support for starting freedom in this country, including two of the Prime Minister's own members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, let's get these restrictions out of the way. Let's open up our economy. Let's bring back freedom. Let's make Canadians the authors of their own stories again.
Questions and comments? Questions et commentaires. L'honorable secrétaire parlementaire.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I note that when the member was speaking, he talked about the protest outside being a peaceful protest. What we do know is that there have been many incidences of non-peaceful type activities that have been occurring. As a matter of fact, a number of his colleagues in the Conservative bench have also called out what's going on outside as an occupation. And I'm curious if he wants to comment as to whether or not he agrees that we should be asking those that are outside to leave now that they've made their point, or if he thinks that what's going on outside is totally legitimate and should continue in its current form.
The Honourable Member for Carleton.
I don't want any of this to continue. In fact, the truckers themselves have said they will not stay here 1 minute longer than the Prime Minister continues to impose against the freedoms of Canadians. And as for him insulting the people who've spoken up, I encourage him to listen to his own member of Parliament, the member for Quebec, a Liberal MP, who said that when he went to the protest, he saw a very kind grandmother who demonstrated for her grandkids. She looked and sounded nothing like a white supremacist, nor did the Black, Sikh, and Indigenous Canadians I saw demonstrating on my way to Parliament Hill these last 2 weeks, or in Quebec City this last Saturday. I have enough respect for my fellow Canadians not to engage in these easy and absurd labels.
What?
Questions et commentaires. Questions and comments.
What?
Député de Lac-Saint-Jean.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was going to thank my honourable colleague for his speech.
What?
I would never want him to be quiet. I always listen attentively when he speaks because he's one of my favorites. Now, we agree on one thing. It's that the government management of the crisis has been awful. We all agree on this. No leadership. We can see that. And I totally agree with my colleague on that point. Now, some of his Conservative colleagues have asked for the immediate end to the blockade in Ottawa. And which side is he in favor of? The Honourable Member for Carleton.
Okay.
I would like to thank the Honourable Member for his question. My position is for freedom. I want to end the government obstruction.
Watch him lose his
that
job.
This government is imposing on Canadians. That
Or
means
get murdered.
ending
Or commit suicide in jail,
mandatory
maybe.
vaccination. Give jobs back to legitimate public servants who were fired because of their vaccine status. Eliminate the
What?
obligation to be vaccinated for truckers who want to deliver products to us, to our grocery stores. Restore freedom to Canadians above all. That means that would bring an end to the protests, and it will help us to start working to make Canada the freest country in the world. Questions and comments?
The Honourable Member for Cowichan, Malahat, Langford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and allow me to congratulate the member for Carleton on his upcoming coronation as leader of the Conservative Party. You know, he talked, the irony here, of course, is that these lockdown protests have themselves caused some of the worst lockdowns in the last 2 years. And he referred to unhappy stories. Well, I've got a few too, Mr. Speaker. I've got unhappy stories from workers and businesses in
cannot be
downtown Ottawa who have
translated.
been unable to open or go to work. Unhappy stories from truckers who are stuck at Coots and stuck at Windsor because of these protests. Workers who are trying to move goods across the border and provide necessary supplies to our communities. I'm asking, Mr. Speaker, through you, will the member for Carleton speak up for those people and make sure that their unhappy stories are listened to by the rest of his caucus and encourage these protests to end?
In 30 seconds or so, the honourable member for Carleton.
One person is responsible for this mess, and that's the Prime Minister. That's right. He caused this mess by attacking Canadian citizens and taking away their freedoms. The rest of the world is moving on. Other countries all around the world are lifting restrictions. Provinces across the country are doing exactly the same, but we've got this holdup. The Prime Minister is hunkering down and out of spite and personal pride, refusing to lift these unjustified and unscientific restrictions. If he would only do so, then the truckers could get back to work and the other protesters could go back to their lives and everything in Canada would get back up on its feet and we could get back to working on giving people control of their lives.
Hey, scholars, it's time to submit your claim.
Please kill yourself. Thanks.
Since Highway 17 at the 91 connector, eastbound traffic is backing up almost to 80th Street, so quite busy through that region. And over to the Queensboro Bridge in the 91 express.
You don't realize what most North American cities are like until you step out of your car. Parking lots, strip malls,
What is this? I guess we'll just wait for it to load. Welcome to City Hall. Like, when is this from, though? 2018.
Since Highway 17 at the 91 connector, eastbound traffic is backing up almost to 80th Street, so quite busy through that region. And over to the Queensboro Bridge in the 91
17.
You don't realize what most North American cities are like until you step out of your car. Parking lots, strip malls, roads so wide they're impossible to cross. Without a car, you're stranded, lost in a sea of asphalt.
Yep.
However, there's a city right here in North America that shows us things don't have to be this way.
Really?
What you're about to see is probably one of the most interesting and deepest metro interchange stations ever built. And I hope this will be the most interesting video on this very interesting interchange. Now, 2021 has been a great year for the channel, as I've got the chance to see a number of impressive projects firsthand, including major regional rail works, giant new bus terminals, and Toronto Line 5. But, not to be outdone, the REM, who invited me out to Montreal for the unveiling of their first trains last year, invited me back once again this year for something so much bigger. Let's take a look. A huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members for helping me make this trip possible. Consider supporting the channel for early access to videos and to help me bring you more content like this. Edouard Montpetit is an unassuming station on Montreal's existing blue line, which sits on the north slope of Mount Royal, for which Montreal gets its name. Now, directly below the metro station, roughly 70 meters or around 20 stories underground, is the Mount Royal Tunnel, which opened in 1918 and carried electric commuter trains back and forth from downtown Montreal, under the mountain and to points north for decades.
Thanks.
With the construction of the REM, Montreal's new regional metro network, this century-old tunnel is being retrofitted for modern fire safety standards and to handle very frequent automated metro train operations. You can learn more about the REM in my dedicated Demystified video in the top right corner.
Look at that.
Now, what's so impressive are the 2 new stations being added within the tunnel to allow metro transfers where the tunnel previously crossed, but no such connection was available. One in the downtown core at McGill, just below the surface,
2020,
and
close
today's
enough.
station of interest, Edouard Montpetit, which is not just below the surface. We showed up to the site nice and early on a brisk Wednesday morning. It was amazing to see just how busy the surrounding area was, with all the students from the local schools and the University of Montreal walking around the crowded surface streets around the station construction site. This community will soon have a brand new transit connection and way of accessing the rest of the region, which...
Replace problem. The speculation move to replace Damour was made in the public uproar surrounding what? Ian Lafreniere, MNA, the riding of Vachon and former head of communications for Montreal Police Force. The SPVM is replacing Damours. Deputy Manager's visual was replaced by an unnamed successor. Okay. I would like to know who right now is the current Administration for Native Americans. The Department of Health and Human Services. Organizations with $19.9 million in a fiscal year 2021 grant funding on September 2021. I don't understand. Jordan's principle? What's that? Advice. I don't understand. Are you fucking kidding me? The only websites apparently that are not safe are government ones. Like, I don't understand. $2018. Get their stuff here from 2020. Because it says the last time this version 5.1.1 2018. So everything's fucking. That's great. More info. I don't get it. I can get stuff from the 1700s apparently, though. That's great. That's really good. We're down to 136. You're automatically putting the settings to only the English ones mod to see, so that's cool.
that in the chats? Like, you get served by flashing. Yes. Fucking, let's see, so yeah, that's the one. That mini game? Yeah. Yeah, it should be. Yeah. That is true. Yeah. He thought it was me. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Oh, it's good. Yeah, you just snap it. Leash. Sounds like an ice cream. My God, my hands are so sweaty. Fuck, why? Goddamn Dark Souls. Really, I would really just beat the witch boss. Yeah, it started off at the pretty much right after the dog. Like that happened. Oh, it's so good though. And it's so good on the PC. Like, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, cock. I knew someone was going to be up there, and it's just, yeah. This, the elevator shot.
Oh,
Flip.
He's chasing gridlock right now. Maybe we weren't close enough. Who wants to do that? Oh, what's the teacher? You have a mute in there again? I couldn't make it inside.
That's what she said.
Yeah. like you, where the fuck is this?
Sergeant Pepper, you've been officially discharged.
Nothing doing. Can't fit in with civilized society no more. When I go to bed at night, I see men hovering over me with their naked asses in my face. I'm not ready to leave that.
Bring me off, let me talk to him.
But you have to come back.
With the family, they need Dr. Penguin.
Tell Tim Cacas.
What? You always think of something, Klaus. Like when you convinced Barbarians to let me go to art school. Goodbye, Sergeant Pepper.
What am I doing here? This isn't a Chablis. This isn't my aunt's place. Aunt Evelyn! Aunt Evelyn, it's me, Raphael! Raphael Penguin!
Good morning, Dr. Penguin.
Okay.
Ready to come home?
Hold on to your wallets. Thief's in the room.
Cute. If you even look at her, I'll pour this hot coffee down your pants, pervert.
That might be the first time you got me hot in a while, frisbee whore.
Oh, look who it is. The ungrateful son.
Leave me alone, embarrassing straight parents, or I'll pee in your cereal. Oh, good, you're all here. I have a surprise for you. What's black and white and lives in Antarctica?
Halle Berry if she moves to Antarctica?
No, but that's funny, very funny. It's Dr. Penguin!
Dr. Penguin!
Oh, thank God.
Help us!
Don't worry. Klaus filled me in on the whole situation. Here's what you all have to do. Everybody go back to
This is like more than 100 fucking pages of this.
The secrets are all out of the open. We can't just forget them.
I'm gonna go get weed and bread. There was something else I wanted to do. It was shutting really down. I think that place is shut down right now. Okay. Okay. Oh.